I've just shot a video about accents and how we learn or don't learn how to speak a foreign language without having a thick foreign accent. But another concern is that we as humans have this problem. On the paper we can read and understand. We can understand people when they talk to us, because in actual life we understand more than on a computer, and the person in front of us knows that we are foreigners, and automatically and many times subconsciously slows down the speed and enunciate more. There are languages where enunciation is very little. That means we have a lot of sounds called schwa from actual sound, the word a, e, or o, that in time, being unstressed, became That's very common in English. Mother, banana, banana. The stress is on the second to last or a, so the other a is pronounced Not every time. This is a tendency of English. Cantar is a tendency of Portuguese from Portugal. They call it European Portuguese. I know it sounds weird, but actually European. The only country where in Europe where people actually speak Portuguese is Portugal, where you don't call Portuguese from Portugal. And there are other languages, even French is like boulevard, or in Naples also. But generally speaking, natural Italian, Spanish, Greek, they don't have this. We tend to pronounce all the vowel the way it's written with an E is pronounced A in Greek, in Italian. But anyway, so my point is that people in a language where they tend to articulate more, we never articulate everything like it's written. I'll give an example. I'm learning Turkish. Nasılsınız means how are you, plural, or how are you, respectful. Actually, I said, where is the L? And many times they do not pronounce the L. Nasılsınız. Or I don't feel there is an L. Maybe the L is nasılsınız is so slurred that it's like there isn't. And that's a huge problem. Okay, if I pronounce just a word like nasılsınız and I say nasılsınız, okay, I understand. But if that happens in the language flow, we get lost. So, first of all, we should have an amount of words that we really must. There are basic words. If you know the basic words of a language, it's more difficult that you get lost because of the pronunciation. But pronunciation can be really misleading. And I don't say anything about English because English is the worst language. Just because in Italian at least we have a standard Italian pronunciation and we have a lot of dialects. But okay, in English you have even more standard. There is a British standard, and there is an American standard, and then there are substandards. The good meaning of substandards. The substandard in English means bad. other subdivisions of these standards. This is Canadian, South African, Irish, Australian, and New Zealand. So really, at least when you learn Italian or Greek, you watch the news and they speak standard. You can watch news and they speak, obviously difference in the news are less than common people. So news in Australian English is not as different from British English as the way common people speak on the streets. And even there are different between different registers. So being constantly exposed to the language and moving up from news, documentaries, which is the easiest. News, they always use the same words. They pronounce the town because people many times do different things, and they read, people who watch television, so they tend to enunciate more, not to, because some phenomena happen, something happens when you speak fast. When you speak fast, it's like when I play the trombone, and if I play very fast, trombone has no keys, has no valves, so I have to find, everything sounds a little bit blurred. The same goes for speaking. Like trombone, we don't have like frets or keys, so everything is moving freely from I, so the A becomes A, the O, everything moves. And we move from one sound to the other. So that's why in English they say point, because they move from the P, and when they go to the O, they let a little bit of air slip through. Italian are more precise. We say point, point. But we are less precise for other things. So we use ct, Italian becomes t. So actum, atto. So there are things that in time become the new standard. I'm sure there was a period where people say acto, 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 atto. So it's a continuum. And people when speak, they never exactly speak the way it's written. Okay? Even for languages where there is almost a one-to-one character to sound matching. So sometimes you can change the speed even on YouTube, and you will notice that when you change the speed, since they don't change the way they articulate, you can tell this is fake. Why? Something that is pronounced at one speed, you go to two speed, is something people cannot do. You cannot speak as fast, articulating everything, so you understand something is amiss. And the same thing happens when you slow down something that it was actually spoken fast. Everything sounds fake because, but you can get used to, okay, but generally speaking that accounts for the fact that we speak differently, at different speed. We speak differently when we are sleepy, when we are drowsy, when we are under the effect of drugs, when we are under the effect of emotion, we slur words, we mumble. Language is a continuum, okay? We see We have this idea that it's like it's written. There's a character, one sound, and this, and then one word, and another word we don't pronounce like this. We pronounce everything like a continuum. So what happens if you don't have an immediate recognition of the words, you don't know where a word's end and another begins, so you can make a word with the ending of one word and the beginning of another word. Some people know theoretically words, but they're not able to immediately understand what people speak. So the idea, like with active, is taking it easy, take your time, and spend more time listening. There will come a day when you need to have a wider vocabulary, a more formal language, and that is the point you start reading. You can sometimes watch and listen. There are many audiobooks even on YouTube, depending on the language you're learning. Okay, for English that's everything, and you'll see. And then you start reading, and that's a point you can do reading, because you don't mispronounce. You have a good base, you have the fundamentals. Goodbye.